Major Manik Jolly, strategic affairs expert, continues to be with us. Igal Malka is human rights activist joining us from Israel. Mr. Malka, I begin with you. Do you suspect that Iran could take the steps to block this strait, further escalating the region into conflict?
Hi, yes, indeed, it looks like they are going to do that. But let's not get confused. Under Hussein Obama, the Iranians used to get paid for their violent acts. Just remember the incident in February 2016 when the American sailors were kidnapped by Iran. Now it's a completely different story, and Trump is not Obama, as we all know, and he's definitely not the guy that the Iranians want to mess with. If they close the Strait of Hormuz under Trump administration, there will be only one result. They will be punished. Don't get confused about that. I believe that they will think about it again and again before they're willing to close the Strait of Hormuz.
Major Manik Jolly, your sense on whether Iran is in any position to escalate further? Could this be a scorched earth policy? Do they want Armageddon now or live to fight another day?
Yes, surely. So, in case of Iran, the Air Force is pretty much wiped out. The only thing of strength they are left with is a very strong stockpile of missiles, which will also start depleting afterward. The production is not as fast to catch up as the amount of attacks they are carrying out on Israel. So, matter of week or 2 weeks, they won't have a considerable amount of attacks they are carrying out. And everybody knows the military might of US. You really would not want to start attacking their air bases or their bases in UAE or Qatar. Not only are these Muslim countries, which Iran would not risk attacking, but also Iran would not like to get into direct conflict with US because US has pretty considerable presence in the region. And even though Iran is a big country, it's I think the 17th large area, it has enough targets to offer if US really wants to take them to task. And as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, I think they can try, but it would not be very effective. They can do it as we did that kind of but the amount of naval presence that the US has in the area, their entire fleet is located. They have a very strong base in Qatar, Bahrain, UAE. I do not think the Iran has the military might to carry out that thing.
But plus, Major Manik Jolly, all it takes is blowing up one narrow passage. All it takes is blowing up one vessel. All it takes is blockade of, one ship, and then everything gets stockpiled. They can even have deniability if they attempt something like that.
Yeah. So I was coming to that. Although it is critical, but it is not that critical that if it is blocked for a week or so, which is maximum it will take to reopen it again, that the world will stop breathing. The main route of oil that it goes, Iran supplies China and let's say EU, right? EU can start taking it for US. They have enough access. China has Russia. So India is not dependent that heavily there. So everybody has alternates to, even if it is blocked for some time, we can survive. I mean, I mean all the countries who are depending on oil on that. So it is not a threat that actually would bring either America or Israel or any countries to the knees. It is just an act of defiance which they keep threatening with. And this is given the military postures of US that they have now in the region, it will not be a threat that they can pull off easily.
Mr. Malka, I do want to ask you, there is, of course, the other prospect out of this conflict, which is that Iran, of course, is threatening to get out of the non-proliferation treaty. We've had the head of the atomic energy body, saying that we need to get back onto the negotiating table. We need to be able to first go across once again to Iran's nuclear sites, see what their program is up to. We don't quite know firsthand yet what the damage is. The head of the IAEA is also saying, let us go there, assess what the damage is. We're not in an independent authority or a position to be able to do so. Do you think any of that is possible? Do you think Iran will at all give up its entire nuclear program, enrichment program, and come back on the diplomatic table? Because the voices are entirely different.
Well, see, all the bombs in the last few days took Iran a few months or years backwards, but their plans are still the same. They are planning to come back with a nuclear weapon. They are not saying anything else, even now, even in that position. They are still threatening Israel. They are still saying that they will continue and develop their nuclear weapon. So I cannot see how going back to the negotiation table will solve this. The issue is now that we must stop this regime. We must stop his existence. Iran should go back to the 70s of with their Shah leadership, and this is the only solution that we can count on that time.
But Israel has maintained so far that that's not its objective. Bringing about a regime change is also fraught with its own dangers, as we have seen in the past.
Yes, but what we are talking about is going back to the stable regime that was before the Ayatollahs. Let's remind everyone that the regime in Iran right now is the same of Hezbollah, same of Hamas, and same of ISIS. Those are all the same tree. They are same branches. They are all branches of the same tree. They are all coming from the same propaganda, and I cannot count on a leadership, on a regime that is using terror or power to control nuclear power.
Mr. Malik Jolly, from India's perspective, we're also wondering exactly where does this end, or is there any end to this? Because under this Islamic theological point of view that the current Iranian regime has, and under this latest humiliation, they're never going to rest easy. They're never going to give up what their overall world view is. So, US and Israel may win this particular battle or this section of war, but this is a generational war. This is I don't want to use the term civilizational, but this is a never-ending war. How do you solve this problem?
Yeah, okay, you get it right. It's
I agree.
Mr. Malka, that's for Mr. Jolly. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I was saying, you're absolutely right in that. This can't be left at half measure now, because the thing is, the conventional response to attack on Iran, one could have assumed air raids going, or missile attack, or ground wars. All these are not happening. They don't share borders, and so they will go for the asymmetric war, which is more terror attacks, more IDs, more bomb blasts, which is the bane of Israel, which is what they are frustrated with, starting the massive attack on 7th October. So my point is, either they go full ahead, and they have to go for a regime change now, because Shah was, as it was said, in the 70s, he was one of the greatest friend of Israel that time. The world was very divided that time. Cold War was on. Middle East was much more fractured in terms of opinions and all. But he was a true friend of Israel. And even in Iran, you have many factions who support Israel and their cause and want to be friends. So till the time this theological government is not changed, Israel cannot expect for a position where they can lay back and say, fine, we destroyed a nuclear facility and now we can rest. That is not going to happen. Rather, the caution will be increased now. Hence, they have to go for the full measure and go. I don't know how that happens or how long will it take, but it has to be taken to its end, so that if Israel wants to be safe and secure again.
Even if there is a regime change, not all sections of the thrown out regime ever, perish. There are always sections that survive. They regroup, they mount another so-called revolution. That's what I mean. Even a regime change at this stage is not an end to a theological fight. That's the problem, and that's the bane of this world that we're talking about. But